Hi, hello, welcome or welcome back. It is December 1st. The lighting is horrible because it's December, but we're doing another yarn tracking video. If you didn't see, or if you don't remember, because it will have been a month for you, last month I did a video where I tracked my yarn used in November. I tracked this in my cute little notebook and I did it in grams. I used my little kitchen scale for it, and I choose to do this in grams because a lot of my yarn doesn't have labels and I don't actually like tracking finished skeins because I use a lot of half skeins, a lot of partial skeins. I do a lot of color work, and in plushies you don't use full skeins, stuff like that. Okay, now I would like to point out that any method of yarn tracking is going to be not entirely representative because I use a lot of different yarn weights. I use extra bulky chenille all the way to sock weight yarn, like sock yarn. Yes? And in November, on a day where I spent 6-ish hours working on a giant plushie in super bulky chenille yarn, I used 873 grams of yarn. That's nearly a kilo in a single day of work. Another day in November, I was working on a blanket in sock yarn on a 3mm hook, I don't remember. I spent a similar amount of time working, but I only used 32 grams of yarn that day. This would be the same if you save labels of yarn, right? Because you have 50-gram skeins of yarn that you can use like a 6mm hook on. You can get through those in like 30 minutes. And then they're done. And that's one skein. But you also have like giant yarn cakes, and I use both. So regardless, it's not going to be entirely representative of the amount of time I spent or the amount of effort. And I don't want to check time or effort because that varies, right? Sometimes it's a lot of effort for me to crochet 2 rows on my giant double crochet brainless blanket because I'm tired and I'm busy and I don't want to work on it. And sometimes I spend 12 hours in a single day working on stuff because I'm having a great time. Effort is relative. I can't track that. And what I can track is numbers. And I will be keeping some notes on what type of yarn I used so we can look at it and go, oh, that's really impressive because it was not a bulky yarn. Or we'll go, oh, that's a really big number, but it was like super bulky yarn, so it's not that crazy. Yes. If you feel like it, go back to November, check how much yarn I used there. I'm not going to tell you right now because then you wouldn't need to watch that video. And then leave a comment and tell me if you think I'll use more or less yarn this month. And if you don't feel like going to watch the previous one first, just tell me how much you think I'll use. It's definitely going to be more than a kilo because I figured out that I could use a kilo in a day if I really needed to. I do have some Christmas presents to work on that will be relatively lightweight and take up quite some time because they're detailed. And I have a granny square blanket to sew together, which also won't use that much yarn. But then again, I have a chenille blanket in progress that I'll be working on. I have that giant plushie with the extra super bulky that I should really get some more progress in on. I've been working on that for a while. So it'll even out. It'll even out. There won't be a consistent average throughout the month. That's what I'm assuming. I have been rambling enough. I will see you when I have an update with some numbers for today. See ya. Okay, it is now evening on December 1st. And today I used 180 gram yarn. 181 grams of yarn. You can tell that I'm about to go to bed. Let's see, that is 104, 128, 136 grams of chenille yarn for blanket and plushie purposes, and then 55 grams of acrylic yarn for blanket purposes. Good night. Hi, hello, it's December 2nd and I have used 111 grams of yarn, 87 grams of this and 24 grams chenille. Cool, see you tomorrow. Hi, hello, I forgot to update for a bit. On the 3rd I used 156 grams of yarn and that was 24 grams acrylic, no, 31 grams acrylic, and the rest was tea time. And then yesterday, the 4th, I used 98 grams tea time and 106 grams chenille for a total of 204 grams. Cool. I'll see what I do today. Bye. Hi, hello. On the 5th, I used 98 grams of yarn. Hi, it is the 6th and I used 114 grams of yarn. I am gonna say that my yarn kind of had these bits that just weren't attached to the main skein, and that is 4 grams. I'm not gonna count those, okay? Those count as used up. What am I going to do with this? They just came out of my yarn like that. Whack. The small bit that came out that was bigger, I could maybe do something with, but I'm gonna count it as having used it because it is no longer attached to the yarn that I am using, and I decided. So if you think that shouldn't count, remove 4 grams. See ya. Hi, on the 7th, yes 7th, we used 58 grams of yarn to finish this blanket. Bye. Hi, hey, good evening. On the 14th I used 11 grams of yarn. And today, the 15th, I used 106 grams. Yesterday that was all We Yarn Company yarn, the Gallus sock. And today it was different kinds of acrylic. See you tomorrow, maybe, possibly, sometime. Bye. Hi, good day. I am here to update you once again. On the 16th, I used 53 grams of yarn. Mix of chenille, cotton, and yarn from the We Yarn Company. Then on the 17th, I used 27 grams of yarn. Chenille. And then the 18th, I used 179 grams of yarn. All chenille. Now, yesterday, the 18th, it's the 19th today, but today's not finished yet. Yesterday, I did start on this shawl here, but then I decided to change the design, so I frogged it. So I did use this yarn, but I didn't use it, you know? So I'm not counting that, that's okay. Counting it today. Yeah, I'll see you next time I update you. Maybe tonight, maybe some other time. Bye! Hi, updates again. On the 19th I ended up using 48 grams of this yarn. And then on the 20th I used 134 grams, which was a mix of chenille yarn and this yarn. Then the 21st I used 35 grams, this yarn. And the 22nd I forgot to check in the evening how much I used. And then I used some more this morning, the 23rd. Of this yarn, but because I forgot to weigh in between and it was like one more row this morning, should have finished that last night, I'm just gonna count that for yesterday and have that subtracted from what I used today. It's gonna end up as the same over the whole month anyway. That would add up to a total of 102 grams of this yarn. Great, awesome. Love that. It's now the 23rd. I have work today, but not a full day of work, so maybe I'll use more yarn, and otherwise the number for today would be 0. You'll hear that at some point. Bye. Hi, hello. I've returned from my family for Christmas and that kind of stuff. And working. The 23rd I ended up using 64 grams of yarn, pretty good because I worked that day. And then the 24th I also worked, but not as much, and I used 139 grams of yarn. And then it was family visiting time, so I brought yarn with me. I used 163 grams on the 25th and 113 grams on the 26th. And then yesterday I worked again and I used 50 grams of yarn, but that was shit. Previously, like the 24th to the 26th, I used acrylic, like all acrylic, like thinner acrylic, and now it's chenille. Today I have work again, and I'm not expecting to get a lot done because I am quite tired from working many days in a row and then having family visits and stuff. So maybe today is 0. Maybe I get home from work and I'm suddenly super motivated. I don't know, but I have to hit the work in a bit. I just added everything up right now because we are nearing the end of the month and I want to like have a good number for the end of the month. We are now at 2.9 kilos, give or take a few grams, you know? 2.9 is good. Last month we had 3.6, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 3.6 and some grams. So I'm definitely reaching 3, like smooth, solid 3 kilos. Because that's just 93 more grams right now. That's very doable, very possible. But because I don't really have anything to do the 29th, 30th, and 31st, I might try really hard to beat last month in those few days. I'm not sure yet. I say I don't really have anything to do. I could be working for my exams and my assignments and whatnot. But I kind of have like this mental rule for myself that I don't do uni or school. I did this in high school too. I don't do school between Christmas and New Year's Eve. That's wrong. That period of time is just for existing and in some cases making money by going to work. I've been going to work a lot this week, which gives me an extra reason to not want to do school stuff. Yeah, so maybe I just go have like a little bit of a challenge day and try to hit a high number. You'll see what I do. Maybe I just go, I don't want to do anything and play video games, and then the number is 0. I'll update you hopefully tonight if I do something, if not tomorrow. I'm gonna try to not slack as much on the updates for January, because I have a lot of like bam 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 whole week of numbers this time. Yeah. Bye. Hi, hello. The 28th today we used 62 grams of yarn, all chenille. Good night. Hi, hello. On the 29th I used 219 grams of yarn, all chenille. Hi, hello. It is the 30th. I used 206 grams of chenille yarn today, and I will be using the "it's not tomorrow until I've been to bed" mentality for tomorrow. I'll most likely be up until past midnight because fireworks and New Year's, and you know how that gets. And I'm not gonna pause at exactly midnight to update my tracking and switch over to January 1st. I'm just gonna keep using my yarn until I go to bed and then count that as the same day. I hope that makes sense. I'm assuming y'all would do the same if you were to do this. I'm not that specific about this tracking that I would go, oh boy, midnight, let me move over my tracking. I'm pretty sure I haven't actually been up past midnight on any time tracking the yarn, or at least not crocheting past midnight on any time that I've been tracking yarn. I have been up past midnight. But if I were to be up past midnight on a regular day, I would also just count that as the same day still. So, just letting you know. Okay, good night. I'll see you tomorrow, or more likely the morning after tomorrow. Bye! Hi, it's January 1st now. I'm wearing the sweater I made over Christmas. It's out of the laundry. I'm gonna need to make the sleeves a bit longer. But it's comfy, it's nice. Yesterday I ended up using 292 grams of yarn, which for the month puts us at a total of 3,686 grams of yarn, and that is 63 grams more than in November. That's cool. That's fun. I like that. I didn't really take detailed notes this month. I was kind of scattered, as you may have been able to tell from me not updating daily. But from my notes, I can see that I used a lot of chenille yarn, which, yeah, I do that. A lot of this type of yarn, which makes sense because I made a star blanket and I used it in this sweater, and then I'm making a hexagon cardigan. Makes sense that I used a lot of that yarn. It's tea time yarn. And then I used a lot of store brand acrylic, so like the acrylic from the Action. And I used quite some yarn from the We Yarn Company. And that's everything that's in my notes. Would have used a bit of velvet here and there and some other acrylics probably, but I didn't really take notes on that. Yeah, I made my little thing here for January. The goal is to hit 4 kilos, and I'll see you at the beginning of February, I guess, for that update. Let me know what you expect me to do next month and how you feel about 3 kilos and 600 something, 686 grams. It's still a whole Neo. She's sleeping. I'm gonna let her sleep. It was fireworks. She probably didn't sleep a lot over the night. I'm gonna try to update more regularly in January. I think this was a little bit chaotic. I'm sorry about that. I hope it was still enjoyable, and I will see you next time. Bye.